right. Banu, everything is okay?
We can start, Valentino. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So thanks again for everyone for joining this session. This is the very first session of a journey that we want to build with the Child Safety Initiative. This is a community gathering. This is a community meeting. We know most of us, so basically we already had some preliminary contact. Some of us are new faces for me, for instance, but that's great to welcome you in this first session of this community gatherings. Really, before starting, I like also to thank all the Child Safety Initiative team. You can see in this very first slide some of the persons who are working in this initiative. Side to me, you can see, of course, Kavya Perlman, the CEO of the XRSI, Banu, Chief of Staff of the XRSI, and Jessica Ray, Program Manager, who are doing an amazing job, basically, to make everything real and make everything feasible in our challenge. So I think that every milestone that we are achieving, that we are building step by step during these months and in the next one, is absolutely the result of your effort and your commitment. But you are going to see more of our team also at the end, like Paula and Jimena, and all of us are building something really meaningful, and you are going to see this during every meeting. So first of all, I'd like to introduce the XRSI. So most of you are already familiar with the XRSI, but the XRSI is a standard development organization based in San Francisco and also in Europe, in Italy, in Turin. So Lorenza, this is another interesting point regarding Italy. In all this initiative, the mission of the XRSI, basic mission is very simple, but also fundamental. So we want definitely to prioritize the welfare of individuals and the society in this world where technological advancement is evolving at an incredible speed, putting at the core of all the innovation process the principles and the values of safety, privacy, of course, human rights, and the well-being, the wider well-being. How we are doing that? We are doing that involving you all. So this vast community, this vast family of global experts who are working to build a technology innovation, to promote a technology innovation which is responsible and ethical. So a technology with a purpose, a technology with a goal, with a value at the core. And I think that shifting now from the general XRSI to the vertical, which is the core of our discussion today, so the XRSI Child Safety Initiative, we all agree, many of us work directly in strict contact with children, in child safety, in online safety of children. We definitely agree that today, because of the emerging technologies, of immersive technologies like virtual reality, but the many other technological innovations like virtual assistants, artificial intelligence, also the blockchain, and many others, all these technologies are creating digital venues that there are not only journeys for children to have fun, to get in contact with other people, with their peers, but also to discover something. We know that children and young individuals are super curious. They're always exploring something new. And all these technologies are super captivating. Their interest to know more, to go beyond the limits of what society defines as a standard. But we know that all these great promises of opportunities and benefits, they are also connected with potential challenges, with potential issues. Cyberbullying, exposure to content which is not appropriate to the different age groups, potential data theft, also the presence of manipulation, new kind of manipulative dynamics based on AI. All these technologies, all these challenges, they are basically exposing children, the young generations, the future generations to, I think, unique risks and harms. So the Child Safety Initiative, the CSI, is born exactly from these concerns. So what we want to do is to empower the younger generations to access the great potentials of new technologies, but at the same time, to do that within a context of safety, within a context of privacy, within a context of also of mental health well-being. So to do that, one of the things that we are working on is something that I'm going to introduce you right after, also providing with the entire team the journey that we want to share with you, for you to be part of this journey to build this tool to be the better world, the better digital world for children. So, Banu, if you can go to the next slides. Thanks a lot. So we definitely understand that today in the digital tech, in the digital scenario, in the digital tech scenario, if we don't have a direction, if we don't have a purpose, if you don't have a goal, basically the output of the technological innovation is going to range from uncertainty to potentially danger, to potentially very serious harms. And this is not something new. A couple of years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we all thought that social media were just, the happy place where to post the photos and the images of our cats, of our dogs. But now we know how many bad things can happen on social media. And all these kind of platforms are, we can say, becoming more complex, becoming more immersive, becoming um, more invasive, we can say, also in the life of every individual, but especially when it comes for younger generations. So we decided that we need definitely a blueprint, a set of rules, a set of principles, a set of, we can say, guardrails to be inspired from to build a better digital world. So we started the work and we are working on this, and we want to make it real and actionable as soon as possible. We started a project that we call the Guardians and Shield Framework, so the GSF. The GSF is definitely not just a list of check points that we want to fulfill. It's definitely, we can say, a response from our team to the need of to the need to address the significant risk connected with children using digital technologies. It wants to be, on one side, an information tool, a tool to educate the population, the stakeholders, the content creators, the policymakers about what are exactly the risks and harms connected with digital technologies that promise so many advantages. But this is also a call to all the content creators, all the stakeholders, all the educators, the guardians, in order to consider in everything they are doing, in every kind of technology they are using, to put their child safety at the very core of this innovation process. So this is going to be exactly a tool where to start and make valuable questions, because especially in the era of, we can say, artificial intelligence, of large language models, of ChatGPT and many others, we are learning that the quality of the output is strictly connected with the quality of the questions that we make to all these systems. So we want to be, honestly, one of the organizations in the world to define and design the right questions, the valuable questions, to promote better quality outputs, in this case for children, so for the younger generations. So the GSF is something that we are going to develop from now to the next months. We already started some preliminary steps, and later Banu will introduce also more details about it. But please, Banu, next slide. So what are the many technologies that that we need to consider when we talk about children's child safety? There are many converging technology, because I think that there is this aspect to consider. Today is not realistic to consider only one single technology totally separated by the others. We cannot just say we want to focus only on AI, we want to focus only on augmented reality. It's totally unrealistic. It is unrealistic when it comes for building something, some value with this kind of technologies, but it's unrealistic especially when we want to adapt or apply a risk framework, a risk assessment process. Because if we apply such a risk assessment process, we will lose and miss many potential challenges coming from other technologies that are part of a service, of a product, of a platform. Today, the new normal is converging technologies, providing a mix, a complex mix of benefits, but also a complex mix of challenges. All these technologies can be unrealistically separated, like artificial intelligence, of course. Now everybody is starting using ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is already old. Today we have many other tools, and we know that now all the children, they are going back to school, and this is going to be the first going back to the school in a world where we have large language models deployed basically virtually everywhere. And this is going to be really interesting, both in negative and in positive ways. Unfortunately, also negative. We have also XR technologies. We know the key efforts from the XRSI were born from analyzing immersive technologies, but now we are analyzing the entire plethora of emerging technologies and converging technologies. So XR, AR, VR. We have the blockchain. Maybe still is not so present in the life of the younger generation, but this is growing. When we think about the NFTs, when we think about cryptos, when we think about the gamifications coming from the NFTs, from in many kind of platforms, a lot of platforms are integrating, even in a very subtle way, the NFTs. So this is going to become more and more important in the life of younger generation. So we talked about chatbots and virtual assistants. They are connected with artificial intelligence, but we are curious also to hear from you, just a very first little contribution from your side. Maybe we're missing some technologies. What do you think? So what are the other technologies that you recommend we should definitely take into the scope of the analysis and the conversation around the GSF? So maybe Bano, you can jump to the next one. Exactly. So if you're familiar already with Menti, you can go to menti.com, insert that code also from the smartphone. It's super simple, and you're going to find a very simple sequence of technologies, or just spaces where you can add when you can add the technology that you think are missing from this list, and the technology that probably are deeply impacting the life of children and that we definitely need to consider. Maybe there are a subsection of all these technologies that we listed. So we are going to see basically the result of your contribution, so a sort of word cloud, but maybe we can also see that. Oh, thank you, Andres. I see right now. Brain-computer interfaces, absolutely. Maybe they are still not the technology so widespread, especially when it comes for younger generations. But we are going to see many neurotech-like technologies also in the daily life. Let's think about the new sensors also embedded in the virtual reality headset. So definitely yes. Payment technologies. So this is connected also with the blockchain. Fit watches, absolutely. All the wearable haptics, the IoT, of course. Kavya is going to say something about IoTs.
If you see a technology that's already listed, don't be shy and add your input as well, because that's why we want to create this sort of word cloud as to how many people believe BCI should. So it could give us an indicator that more people believe BCI should be included or payment should be included, etc.
Joe, yes.
Yeah, just a question maybe to facilitate the discussion with regards to blockchain and in the context of, pediatric efforts. I'm curious where, if maybe by way of example, if we could, provide a few examples of what people are thinking.
About the blockchain.
Yeah. And how it, I guess, is it, for example, are people thinking, like, for example, that people may use this as a methodology to stay anonymous and carry out bad activity, or is it kids inappropriately accessing their parents' accounts, or
Yeah.
I'm just a little more context would be very helpful for that one.
I can make definitely an example on that, because basically to open potentially an account also in the crypto world, you don't need exactly the control of a bank, etc. You're quite free to open something like that. And there are many, even fashion companies, without citing a specific one, but they are opening the first NFTs collections for their digital collectibles, for the digital dress, for the digital shoes, for the digital even sports-related products. So this is a way, when you say NFTs today, you say immediately community engagement. You say immediately loyalty program, innovative loyalty programs. You create basically your community around the NFTs. So a lot of children, a lot of teenagers, they can be captivated and interested to buy such NFTs in order to access interesting experiences, community experiences like travels or discounts on limited edition shoes. But this means that there is a financial transactions in the meantime, and there are a lot of scams out there. So they can lose the money. They can even not decide to provide some very sensitive information. This is just an example. But you see,
Yeah,
also
no, very helpful.
Yeah,
very helpful. Yeah. Thank you.
This is one of the many experiences, one of the many examples. But okay, personal health records, of course, RFID implants. There are a lot of dresses, also sport dress, that are connected between NFTs and NFC. So this kind of IoT devices that can connect within NFT. So many converging paradigms and scenarios.
Just a quick reminder, we have like 30 minutes almost marker, so we want to move crisp and forward.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Let's move to the next one. So, also to be shorter here, there are some key values and principles that we want to put at the center of the development of our GSF. First of all, focus on children's rights. In every kind of layer, in any kind of digital step in the innovation process, every stakeholder should remember if a specific innovation, if a specific technology or service, does it safeguard, protect, enable, and does not limit the children's rights. This is a fundamental first step in everything. Of course, safety is a priority. We want definitely to precede the damage, so act in advance as much as possible, and safety should be a total priority in the development of every digital innovation. Of course, we know that this is a shared responsibility. There is no one single savvy who knows how to solve all these problems. There are many contributions from any kind of section. As today, all the people joining this call, everybody is representing a different expertise. So this is exactly the nature of our work, and also the final result of the GSF. What is the best interest of the child? Every kind of step, every kind of digital innovation should be the answer to this question. Is this in the best interest of the child? Is this protecting the child, or this is protecting the adults? So of course, this is definitely not a granted question. And last point, but very important, every kind of countermeasure, control, feature of the GSF and any kind of framework should be based on evidence, should be rooted in evidence, because we can see many age limitations. We can see many kind of, we can say, limitations in using technology. But why these limitations are why they are applied? They are applied just because there was a general discussion, a general law, or there are data-related complications or issues, or this is based really on the limitations and the vulnerabilities of children as stated by science, by medicine, by mental health research, and so on. So I think these 5 elements are at the basis of the development of the GSF. Next one. Yes, just one more thing about the GSF. The GSF doesn't want to start from scratch. There is a great experience made by the entire XRSI team in the development of the PSFs, of the privacy and safety framework. We don't want to replicate exactly the PSF, but there is a lot of experience that is an asset of the XRSI that we want to take as an inspiration, but of course adapt all the process of the GSF development to the very specific needs of children and child safety. One single point which is fundamental in this conversation, which is any kind of, we can say, framework, regulation should be an enabler, not a limit. So if we are not able to provide a technology in a safe way, this is a responsibility of us as adults. And if we want to limit the use of technology by children, this is a problem of us, not of the children. So any kind of framework should be an enabler. We want to introduce a rule to make to help children use the best of the technology and the best of the innovation. And this is a core, we can say, element of the GSF development. But now we can move to the next one, and I can Banu, it's up to you also to describe better also the journey that will lead us in the development of the GSF from now to the future.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, Valentino, for handing me over. Hello, everyone. I'm Bhanu. I look after CSI Ops and also the Chief of Staff at XRSI, as Valentino shared. Let me quickly dive into the frameworks, research, and development plan. Our journey, as you can see, towards developing the framework spans a tentative 20-21 months, divided into 5 major phases. Phase 1 is already over. It lasted for 4 months. It laid the foundation for the project's direction. We engaged in planning, initiating team creation, defined a scope, tentative scope, crafted our research questions, and we settled on a methodology for research. That's what we did in phase 1. In phase 2, we are currently in phase 2. We are gathering resources and delving into literature review on child safety with the focus of emerging and immersive technologies. Our engagement is to reach a broad spectrum of stakeholders, from children to parents and industry experts. Jessica will cover more on this in a couple of next slides. Through interviews and surveys, our objective is to capture a comprehensive understanding of experiences and perspectives of these industry partners. This phase will culminate with the finalization of our project scope and identification of guardians ecosystem. Further, we also plan to share our knowledge consolidated during phase 2 but in an open source repository. As we will transition into phase 3, our focus will be data collection and analysis. Over a tentative 6 months, we'll harness a range of research methods, including surveys, roundtables, and interviews. The goal is to find patterns, themes, and insights about child safety within the finalized scope. In this phase, dedicated working groups will be instrumental to plug in specific areas of concerns and knowledge, and facilitating right discussions to tackle the diverse challenges and issues. Phase 4 will be all about creation and refinements of the framework, spanning an estimated 4 months. Our approach will be dynamic, drawing heavily from insights garnered from phase 3. This iterative process will be supported by dedicated working groups, offering specialized expertise to craft a framework that's both robust as well as adaptable to the rapidly shifting landscape of the technologies. Finally, phase 5 will channel our energies towards dissemination and effective implementation of the framework over an estimated 4 months. During this phase, we will amplify the final framework, its awareness, and educate the right stakeholders with the necessary information. Lastly, as we finish, we will again shift our focus to continuous engagement and regular updates based on the inputs and feedback from our partners and stakeholders we receive from phase 5. This phase isn't bound by time, but it's a commitment. Regular updates to our framework remains relevant and adaptable to evolving landscape. It is important to note that the duration of each phase is fluid and is dependent on the resources at our disposal. I'll now ask Kavya to take over for the next slide. Over to you, Kavya.
Thanks, Bhanu. If we could move to the next slide. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, both here and online when you're watching. So our commitment at XRSI is unwavering, as Valentino explained in many different slides. When it comes to most vulnerable users in our digital landscape, that is our children. So today I'm presenting to you a starting point of this architecture of guardian and shield framework, meticulously crafted for the safety and well-being of our young users. So here's our approach. And Vibhav had just asked about age, what is considered child legally, etc. So this is the approach we're taking. We're going to start with 4 functional segmentation, where basically there will be several other controls underneath, but the starting point is such as this: assess. At the outset, we will analyze digital platforms to pinpoint risks specific to young users. What are the challenges that children might face and how we can preemptively tackle them? So here, it's really all about analyzing, assessing. As Bhanu explained, literature review is going to be really important. Diving into various platforms is going to be important. Inform. That's where, we talk about consent, transparency. We ensure that our stakeholders, we call the guardians, are informed about the challenges and the nuances of children's digital interactions. Together, we'll craft strategies that center on the child-centric design and safety. Prevent. Now, this is not just protection, it's prevention, because you can't unsee things, or especially in children's brain, you can't undo the harm that happens to the brain. So prevention is our first line of defense. We proactively integrate mechanisms to deter threats and safeguard the younger users, ensuring that they have a safe digital space to explore and learn. Aspects like safety by design from Australia's e-safety commissioner will be adopted, and I'll talk about that in just a little bit. Govern. Oversight is the key. With children as our focus, we ensure that our processes, strategies, implementations, policies are continuously monitored, refined, placing the safety above all. So in general, you hear the guardian and shield, our guiding principles are guardians that represent several stakeholders, from parents to tech expert. It's a shared responsibility to ensure that our digital ecosystem is trustworthy and child-friendly. Shield, a state-of-art tools and technologies that we employ to protect our young users, reinforcing their commitment to their digital safety. So, as Vibhav was earlier asking, what about the age? A crucial foundation for our work is ICO UK's age-appropriate design code. This comprehensive code ensures that digital services are aptly suited for users under 18. And here's what it emphasizes. There is a lot of literature available online. I'm just going to point out a few things that ICO UK's design code emphasizes. Age groups, recognizes variety of needs of children as they grow, segmenting into specific age brackets to tailor the protections. Data protections, again, ICU UK's design guides currently prioritizes children's data privacy. And I see that one of the representatives from Meta, privacy representative, is here. And we've already been kind of coordinating with Meta, Roblox, many other organizations that are key stakeholders. And this is where it's going to be really crucial to implement these things, adopting those standards that are literally law. High standards, so ICU UK maintains a very high bar, which is in the best interest of the child, as earlier Valentino highlighted. That's in scope of our framework. Nudge techniques type things where it also encourages avoiding methods that encourage children to provide unnecessary personal data. In the adult world, we call it dark patterns, etc. So with Guardians and Shield framework, our mission is clear: to create a digital world where children are safe, secure, empowered. Panu, next slide, please. At XRSI, we've always been propelled by our vision for a safer digital realm. And today, we further bolster our commitment with the safety by design principles set out by the E-Safety Commissioner of Australia. Firstly, I want to extend a heartfelt thanks to E-Safety Commissioner Julie Inman-Grant. She has been along for the journey for a long time for her unwavering support and guidance. Their pioneering work and dedication have not only illuminated the path for us, but for countless of organizations globally. A little bit about safety by design principles. So these principles consist of service provider responsibility. We talk about shared responsibility. We're going to adopt directly from E-Safety Commissioner of Australia's these principles, which emphasizes that online service providers bear a responsibility to ensure safety from the outset. It's very proactive. User empowerment and autonomy. Again, going back to vulnerable users, to provide them with knowledge and tools so they can autonomously secure their own safety. Transparency, accountability. These are just, principles that safety by design includes. Lastly, Commissioner Julie Inman-Grant has, very eloquently stated, it's really our job to ask the difficult questions ourselves. Why do adults' rights continue to take precedent over these children? How can we uphold these principles in general, the principles of non-discrimination, right to safety, and the best interest of the child? So these are the throbbing questions that reflect the very essence of our mission at XRSI. With safety by design principles are being adopted within our framework, we aim to prioritize the rights, the welfare of the children in the digital space. And I really am thankful to all of you for coming together and participating in this amazing research and development effort. Thank you so much. I think Jessica is next.
Yep, next slide. So I'll just take a quick minute to talk a little bit about both our internal and external stakeholders and drivers of the research and development of the Guardians and Shield framework. So our internal stakeholders include our project sponsors and executives, such as the XRSI team and our own executive program, our chair and co-chair, as well as project managers, program managers, such as myself, and primary and secondary project managers for the Guardians and Shield framework itself. We also have our research team members led by Desmond Israel. Thanks, Desmond, as well as legal team members, XRSI legal advisors, and external counsel, from which we receive a lot of wisdom and insight. We also have our communications and marketing team members, people who work on our social media, people who put our graphics together and work on our PR and put the word out about what's going on. We also have our technical team members, our IT info lead, and our web developers. We have our quality assurance team members, our researchers, analysts, and copy editor. So we want to thank all of these internal stakeholders and drivers who volunteer a lot of time and are incredibly dedicated and amazing people. We're so privileged to have all of them on our team. Next slide, Banu. Our external stakeholders and contributors. Now, this is a list that we really took kind of considerable time talking about, debating, and putting together, really wanting to make sure that we are including everybody who should be included, everybody who should be at the table, and everybody that this framework will basically inform and support. So we have parents and guardians, educators and caregivers, advocacy and law enforcement, policymakers and regulators, civic organizations, health professionals, mental health professionals as well, entertainment industry experts, metaverse professionals, esports and gaming industry stakeholders, technology industry experts, and social media platforms, as well as academia. So we basically, when we talk about our stakeholders, we're talking about you. We're talking about people who are going to come together to the table and not only participate in this process, but who are going to take this framework and are going to put it out in the world and utilize it. So we want to thank everybody who's involved at every stage and every way, including yourselves. Next slide. How can you contribute?
Kavya, I guess this is.
Let me unmute. All right, thank you. So this is where, you know, your role comes in, and Jessica just explained. Internally, we've dedicated already lots of our energy. We're channeling our energy into stakeholder activities, and we're essentially synergizing and taking in input from external contributors and internal expertise. But this is the cusp of a pivotal moment with Guardians and Shield framework. This is where we really, really need your help, because your involvement, it's not just welcome, it's really essential. There has never been a framework that doesn't just talk about risks, that doesn't just talk about, you know, protecting, you know, after the effect, some trust and safety activity. This is so important to get it right. We have so many technologies that Valentino recounted, AI, etc. They're coming together, they're converging. And if we don't contribute, come together and build this safeguard to ensure that this trustworthy ecosystem is maintained, I'm telling you, no one's coming. And even if they would do their own separate sort of like, here is the policy, here is something. And this is our effort to bring organizations like OECD, eSafety Commissioner, yourself, We Protect Alliance. Like I could name endless organizations who have expressed interest, but seriously, as a person, as a mother, as a parent, this is all of our responsibility. So I really just, you know, want to make a call to action to come together with us on this journey. There is a Google Sheet here. You can go in there as an organization, as an individual. What can you do to make sure that this effort is successful? If there is nothing else, you have very little time, then there is another sheet that I would share, is you can just slap on a couple of these articles that you see or some new research that you see, and our team will synthesize that. We need your perspective. A perspective of a mother who may not have any technical knowledge is so, so important to capture. And then if you have children who might have some thought process like, hey, I don't like these, you know, restrictions, etc., we are going to take children's perspective into account as well. So feel free to extend this to anyone. I invite you to join our Slack channel. So if you want to join our Slack channel, it's a gated community. We don't open it to everybody because we have several key stakeholders there, from sometimes even senators to very, very highly sensitive people, those three-letter agency related people. So that's why we keep it gated, but we welcome you to be part of this Slack and send Jessica an email, and we'll make this happen. So please, let's do this together. And once again, thank you so much for all your time today, and thank you for coming together. Valentino.
You can, yes, you can go to the next slide. Last three ones. So as you say today, as you saw today, this session was to align everybody, each of you, and also all the people that will see and watch this session online, so that everybody of you can have a visibility and the necessary resource to understand what we are doing with the GSF and what we are going to do in the following weeks and months. But so today it was a way to know each other, But we want to replicate this kind of meetings. Why? To learn something together. So we want to make the best of your time, and in the next meetings, when you are going to join us, hopefully you and even more of the people who will join also online, because we want to discuss the use cases in which emerging technologies are or are going to be used with children, to discuss the evidences around the risks, the harms, but also the benefits of the different technologies. This is a list of use cases where you can find technology at the intersection of the life of children. It's of course entertainment, and it's interesting because entertainment and playing is the way children explore reality, is the way children answer to the deep questions, and the way children also face their challenges. So everything starts with the entertainment, but the same way children play with the technology can be used to improve the way they learn something at schools and beyond. It can be used within the hospitals to help children overcome the limits of the clinical setting. Always the same grammatic of the child, which is playing a game. So that is interesting. This is just a very short list of the use cases that we are going to explore in the next meetings. We are going to decide. So let's keep in touch absolutely through our website, through our Slack, by email. So we are going to inform you exactly what will be the topic of the next meeting. But before ending today's session, Banu, maybe the next slide, please. So basically, we can jump once again to Menti, use this code, and let's see what, in your opinion, are the most important use cases to be discussed. Basically,
Anu, can you
in
show
terms of
the
privacy.
code first, please?
Yes, exactly. It was super short. Thanks, Banu. Menti.com, use this code 71966683, and let's try to select the sequence of the in priority importance of the use cases. This is going also to inform us about the next sessions and give a priority to the use cases that we are going to discuss. So if everybody already saw the Menti code, let's see here. Okay, priority use cases. First position, education and learning, skill development and training, entertainment and play, and medical and therapeutic uses. Cultural exchange, of course, virtual tourism. So there are many, and there are many more. And of course, we are definitely open for your hints, for your suggestion on specific use cases that you would like to discuss potentially in the future meetings. So, okay, perfect. Medical became second. Awesome. Okay. Perfect. So probably there is a spoiler for the next meeting. Probably education will be the key topic to discuss together. We cannot ensure, but maybe.
Seems pretty consistent, no? With our
Exactly.
sort of perception of how should we go about it. So this is useful.
Exactly.
Later.
Definitely. All right. Okay. Use cases where children are not targeted specifically, but does impact them. Alexa ring, yeah. It's very general. It can, Alexa and many other can be used for really any kind of, from gaming to the education, and has very strict connection with mental health, also because of all the information that can be collected through audio data. But okay, I think that we can also jump to the final slide. It's really the final slide, but I think it's super important because here you can see all the team that is making the difference. So really thanks again to Kavya, Banu, Jessica, Desmond, Paula, and Jimena, because all this is a super synthesis of weeks and months of heavy voluntary work in the Child Safety Initiative. And this is only the beginning. So if you appreciated this work, you will see a lot of things to come in the next weeks and months. So now we have some time left. We are definitely open to your questions, any kind of things that you would like to discuss, also as a feedback of all the things that we discussed. And you will get from us the invitation to the next meeting. Jessica, the next meeting is confirmed on
September 15th, same time.
Okay.
It'll be 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Mm-hmm.
September 15th. We'll send out a lot of posts about this as well.
Amazing. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Jessica. All right. Anybody wants to say anything as the conclusion of this very first meeting?
Please unmute yourself if you'd like to share anything, make any comments. We'd love to hear from you. We really want to thank everybody for participating, and thank you, Jessica. So
Thank you. Yeah, definitely Desmond is a super force. He's fueling our research team, and definitely we're super grateful to have you on board. Edith.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Valentina. This has been really insightful, and I've got goosebumps. I'm really excited to see this kind of work. It's something that I've been looking forward to be part of, and also to just be among like-minded people. I was intrigued at how a lot of the things that you were talking about are things that have been on my team and I's mind about what we need to do. But sometimes when you're in your little corner of the world, you feel like, it feels so heavy. But I'm happy to see that the other people carrying out these kind of initiatives, and you've done such a fantastic job. Congratulations and well done to the entire team. I will gladly be sharing what work I can also with you, and I hope to see this go to greater heights. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Edith. You don't know how much we definitely understand your words. That super hard by Cavia means a lot, because this is the feeling that we feel a lot of time, and the thing that we are so many building something so meaningful provides a lot of energy to build more, further, and better every day. So thanks a lot.
And another thing, as you raise your hand or speak about, but this is really important to make it global. We need the perspective, Andres, thanks for joining from Peru. People were joining from India. Like, this is so important that we get this global perspective, because while we can talk about rights of children, there are countries where children simply don't have any rights. I'm a prime example. I grew up in India. And what rights are we talking about? There is no 911 to call. There is no response to abuse. And there is no parental guidance. My parents don't even speak English, let alone read a privacy policy. And so this is where finding the balance for the global network of children is going to be so crucial. It can't happen because we sit in Italy, in America, in mostly Western countries. So it's the community that's going to help get it right. Joe, any perspective from you, from the mental health or the medical, because you saw this is the second big use case, and of course Valentino is all about medical XR and children. I wonder what's your take on this?
Yeah, I think this is all fantastic, and two points that are completely unrelated. The first is that I think it might be very valuable to define what is not in scope, because it's a huge domain, and a lot of it that we went through today is intuitive that it needs to be part of it. And then the second point is, and I think this is the elephant in the room, and I think that's a great point you just made about this being a global effort and needing to have this be something that can be a force for good for kids regardless of where they are. And increasingly this is relevant to everyone, but the elephant in the room is really the companies, the social media companies in particular, and and I say that because we have the two juggernauts in extended reality hardware are also social media companies. So and that milieu of different issues that we know comes from, or in most cases is greatly exacerbated by social media. And so I think that is a really critical element in making sure that those stakeholders are at the table, and that we involve, or certainly try to involve and actively engage and have a dialogue with them at all times regarding this stuff. I think is the most critical thing that sticks out in my head.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much, Joe. Very true. Thank you, Confidence. I really hope you guys can all join our Slack channel. That's really an open channel for all these, everybody to come to the table and chat openly anytime, share resources, thoughts, things coming up in this arena. So appreciate it if you guys want to email me, and I will invite you to our Slack channel.
One of the key feelings that I think everyone should leave with is that everyone can contribute something to Guardians and Shields framework. It's not something that even a child can contribute. So if you know others who may be keen to even learn, let's say they don't want to contribute, being on the receiving end is just as good while we share this knowledge with each other. So please encourage others to take part in this, because parents are going to need this to understand how this is evolving. Valentino, any last words before we end?
Again, thanks everyone for this. There is a lot of material that we are sharing also in the chat that you can start accessing, start going deeper, not only contributing, but just knowing more. And I think the goal of all the next meetings will be to know more, to learn something together. And there will be many other sessions when we can build something together in the GSF. As part also with the interview and the roundtables, I said also from Banu. So let's definitely keep in touch on that. But these community gatherings are first of all focused on let's learn something new together at every session around, of course, this topic. And from the knowledge, let's apply the knowledge to make the digital realm better for children. So thanks again for joining today.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone.
And see you the next time.
Absolutely. September 15th, same time, 10 Pacific time. And in the future, we can definitely explore different times that might work for people in different time zones, different countries. We don't always have to do it same day, same time.
Different days.
Yeah, we understand it could be a hardship doing it at this time for some people.
Friday, it's awful. I'm afraid I won't be able to join on Friday. Sorry.
We understand a variety of times, so we can open the two to other people.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.